Alright, I started this recording early, but we are just finding out the full details of the trade, so let's break this down. It was a 3-team deal. Spurs get De'Aaron Fox and Jordan McLaughlin. Kings get Zach Lavine, Sidy Cissoko, and 3 first-round picks, one from Charlotte, one from San Antonio, one from Minnesota, and then they get 3 second-round picks as well, one from Chicago, one from Denver, and then their own in 2028. So, in total, the Kings get Zach Lavine, Sidy Cissoko, 3 firsts, and 3 seconds. That's a lot of value. And then the Bulls get Zach Collins, Trey Jones, Kevin Huerter in their own pick back in 2025. We could start off with the Spurs. They have a potential to run a starting 5 with, it's versatile as hell. If you want to run De'Aaron Fox at the 1, then you could do something along the lines of like, I don't know, Stephon Castle at the 2, Vassell at the 3, Barnes at the 4, Wemby at the 5. It's versatile. You can make this work in many different ways. Jeremy Sohan could start if you want Sohan to start at some points. But this is a versatile lineup that can start a plethora of guys. However, they do have a good rotation of point guards now. I mean, Jordan McLaughlin might not get starting minutes, and he definitely isn't a starting caliber guard. However, he is a guy who can warrant some rotational minutes, but he's not even the important part. De'Aaron Fox, obviously. Stephon Castle's development. He's a Rookie of the Year candidate, or at least has been a majority of the season so far. And then Chris Paul, obviously. You got rid of Trey Jones, so that's fine, but Chris Paul was playing exceptionally well as well. Obviously, De'Aaron's better than the other two, so he's going to start, and he's going to be their best playmaker. He's going to be maybe their best perimeter creator. I'll say that. In my opinion, this makes the Spurs pretty damn formidable. If I go to what their starting lineup was when they played the Bucks the other day, I'm skipping the game against the Heat because Wemby didn't play, but their starting lineup was Chris Paul, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Wemby. If you want to integrate De'Aaron Fox, you could very easily go De'Aaron Fox, Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, Harrison Barnes, Wemby. Or, I don't know. Depends on how they want to do that. Keldon Johnson has been really good coming off the bench this year, so I'm going to leave him there, or I'd opt to at least. You lose Zach Collins in the deal, which is no big deal because Charles Bassey was playing way better than him anyways. And while Trey Jones was a really big spark off the bench in the... What game was I watching where he was really good? The Clippers game. Trey Jones was pretty good in this game as a supporting role, and he helped kind of spark a little run. They ended up losing that game, but he was still pretty good. You have a lead guard, a real, like, go-get-him type of guard. You don't have to wait for Stephon Castle's development anymore because you already have a really good guard. As of right now, the San Antonio Spurs are 21-25, currently... What's that, two games behind Sacramento for the 10th seed in the West. With the De'Aaron Fox deal, hell, I could even see them shooting up to like 8. You know, they're only 3 back of 8. Only 3 back of 8 is not a bad spot with like over 20 games left to play easily. We're currently at about 50 games for some people, 48 for others. So with over 20 plus games to play, you're really not in a bad spot down only 3. And now you have a lead guard for the future. Pretty sick deal if I'm being honest, considering that all you gave up for him was a combination of Zach Collins, Trey Jones, and what picks do we got here? 1 in 2027. And they gave up the Bulls 2025 pick. They gave the Bulls back their pick. It wasn't their pick anyways, so it's not like you're giving up something. While you had it, it wasn't yours, so it's not like you gave up your own pick just in case you're bad. But realistically, you gave up 2 picks and you got back De'Aaron Fox. That's pretty good for a guy who's fringe all-NBA, definitely all-star quality, and a lead guard to play next to your growing, budding, generational superstar. He's already a superstar in Wemby. This is a pretty sick deal when it goes down for the Kings fans, for the Spurs fans, because y'all didn't really give up much, and you got a lead guard who can pass, who can slash to the rim for Wemby, who's a good finisher with a floor spacer like Wemby who knocks down threes. Fox has more space to work with. He can work in the mid-range more. This is just a deal that really works out well for the Spurs, in my opinion, and it really creates a potential really high, or not high seed, but like a low seed you do not want to see come playoff time. I don't think a team wants to match up with Wemby and De'Aaron and Chris Paul, and they got a bunch of good role players because they didn't give up Keldon, Stephon, or Devin. They gave up none of them, and they still got De'Aaron Fox back. That's incredible GM work by I forget what San Antonio's GM name is. No, Rafael Stone was with the Houston Rockets. Wrong guy. Either way, good work by the Spurs. We can talk about the Kings now. The Kings landed Zach Lavine, City Sissoko, 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks. Hey, man, you got 6 picks back and Zach Lavine for De'Aaron Fox. And, yeah, and you lost Kevin Huerter's salary. Not bad on their end. 3 first-round picks, 3 second-round picks, and Zach Lavine, who is also on a movable deal, whether you want to move him or not. Zach Lavine's in a tough spot right now because he's on paternity leave and he hasn't been playing because his wife is, due to give labor soon. So getting moved when you're on paternity leave is definitely not the best look. I hope the Bulls gave him some heads up or told him, hey, man, we're really getting close to pulling the trigger on this deal. I hope this doesn't come as a surprise to a guy who's literally waiting for his wife to give birth. That'd be really low. I expect better out of Chicago, but also I don't expect better out of Jerry Reinsdorf. So, but for the Kings, man, 3 first, 3 seconds, you did solid. A Charlotte pick in 2025, which I'm not sure what the protections are on that, but that's a pretty good pick. It seems like they might be pretty bad. 2027 San Antonio, that's fine. They're going to be good. It's going to be a late pick, not a late pick, maybe like middle of the pack to low 20s. That's a pretty good pick. And then 2031 Minnesota. Lord knows where they're going to be at because they've been atrocious and up and down at times this year. And then Julius Randle might leave in the offseason. And now you're talking about a completely different team. So you never know where that pick's going to land in 2031. That's a while from now. And then 3 second-round picks. This really helps restart and revamp your rebuild, because I don't think that you obviously have DeMar and Zach reunited again, this time in Sacramento. Obviously, I don't think that's your core of the future of Lavine, DeRozan, and Sabonis. I don't like that. This team is very bad defensively now, but yeah, it wasn't really that good anyways. So, it's not like this is a very low risk move for the Kings. I mean, you got 3 first round picks and Zach Lavine, who's movable, because I think he has another year on his deal. I can pull that one up really quick, and I will pull up Zach Lavine's contract. Spot Rack has Mr. Lavine signed until he has next year, 25-26 guaranteed at about $46 million, and then 26-27 is a player option for $49 million, which I'd assume he'd take. Almost $50 million is a good deal for Zach Lavine. And then if you get him to opt in for 26-27, that's when you can move him for, if you want to even. But you could also move him next year, $46 million. It's not unmovable. And on top of that, he's a guy who can definitely strive with this team. I think they're a fun little squad. They're going to be shooting a lot. I think this is a team that's going to lean into shooting the second half of the year. But I'm too busy looking at the Bulls side of the things to really think about the Kings. No offense, Kings fans, but the Bulls, just wait till I get to you. But it's a movable deal in City Sissoko if you really care about City Sissoko. City Sissoko. It's a tough name to pronounce quickly. But like I said, 3 first-round picks, 3 seconds. You didn't lose in this trade. You didn't lose. While it sucks to get rid of De'Aaron Fox because ultimately there was a decision between De'Aaron and Tyrese, and they chose De'Aaron. Where would you be if you chose Halliburton? We can't even think about that now. There's no point in thinking about it because it's already gone, right? So you have to live in the now. And in the now, you got a good return for De'Aaron Fox. You got more picks than the Mavericks got back for Luka Doncic. Obviously, they got AD, but you know what? It's pretty good, actually. I like this deal for the Kings. I'm starting to like it more and more. If you want to roll out a starting 5 for the Kings unit, it'd probably be like Malik Monk, Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, DeMontis. It's not bad. I mean, it's not great either. It's not getting you over the top. So I think that this is a good stepping stone toward the rebuild, to move toward the rebuild. This isn't a deal that's gonna pay off right now. However, if you really want to move Vlade Divac, and is Vlade Divac even in charge right now? They also have, what's his name, the owner. Kings owner is Vivek Ranadive. There we go. I knew it was gonna come to me. If he wants to keep this team mid, he very well can, but I wouldn't suggest it. I would suggest selling the assets at their peak value and getting out in front of the rebuild before the rebuild catches you, right? But overall, 6 picks total. You're fine. Good job, Sacramento. You did decent. Now do the right thing and don't commit to this core long term. Don't commit to Domantas Sabonis long term. Don't commit to DeMar DeRozan or Zach Lavine. Don't do it. Move assets and go. You have plenty of assets, bro. Think about the Sam Presti magic they could do if they were to sell off Malik Monk, Zach Lavine, Domantas Sabonis. I don't know who's willing to buy on them. That's the difficult part about trading in the NBA nowadays because of these aprons and the new apron rules and the CBA, which sucks. The CBA sucks. The CBA is a big part of the reason why Luka Doncic got traded, and they won't tell you that, but technically they did. They said they were worried about paying him the Supermax. So this new CBA is very much killing teams who are looking to move star players as well. So, I'm not sure how well it's going to be to move to move Zach and DeRozan and DeMontis, but I'm going to go look at contracts real quick. Domantas Sabonis is signed to 27-28. Ooh, I forgot he got that extension. It's only $50 million. That's not crazy in 27-28. That's signed through his prime. And then De'Aaron's gone. We don't have to worry about that. DeMar's got 25-26 and then an option. What's that? It's not fully guaranteed. It's not an option. It is solidified, but it's not fully guaranteed. So they can move that into a void year and just get rid of him, bite their losses. So maybe they move him next year and say he's kind of a rental. Malik Monk's got the extension. Malik Monk is just so valuable, and I love what Malik Monk does on a basketball court. I'm so curious what the long-term plan is here for the Kings because, you have somebody like Keegan Murray who's shown fantastic signs but has struggled all season. Kevin Huerter's gone. You got out of that contract. There you go. Good job. And I don't know what the plan is. Long-term, is this a team that's going to make playoff noise? Honestly, I don't think so. I might be wrong, but I don't think so. I don't think a big three. I'm looking at the starting lineup and I see it's terrible defensively, bro. I'm sorry, but it's a bad defensive lineup if you're thinking about competing. But I think we're at the point where Kings fans don't want to compete anymore. Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, and Domantas Sabonis. Come on, stop running it back with mid rosters. There's a lot of value. I was gonna say there's very much value in rebuilding from mid. You saw OKC do it. We saw OKC do it. They were in a great team with Paul George and Russ, but they ended up netting a bunch of picks in return that got them guys like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and Chris Paul, who helped the development of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. And how'd they do it? They beat the rebuild before the rebuild got to them first. Yeah, Malik Monk, Zach Lavine, DeMar DeRozan, Keegan Murray, Domantas Sabonis. It's an alright lineup. I really don't hate the Kings lineup, but I don't think it's competitive, and it's okay. I don't know, man. I don't know. But at the same time, it's like the team is signed long term. That's the downside, is that the team is signed long term. So I don't know what wiggle room they have. And now the Bulls segment of this episode. Oh boy. Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, Trey Jones in their own 2025 pick. You traded Zach Lavine, who was in the middle of pregnancy leave, paternity leave. I'm running on 3 hours of sleep. And you got albatross contract Kevin Huerter, Zach Collins, who got his job snatched by Charles Bassey, and Trey Jones, who's a backup point guard when you already have Kobe White, Josh Giddey. Trey Jones is a fine player. I guess you can keep him around and that's cool, whatever. And then you get your own 2025 pick back, which I guess that has value. They're going to be bad in 2025, so they want their own pick back. You might see some historic levels of tanking going on, but I'm just so confused how the Kings get 3 first-round picks and 3 second-round picks for De'Aaron Fox, who's a great player in his own right. But you trade Zach Lavine and you get 1, and it's your own. You didn't even get a second. I don't know. The tanking has got to be generational. But the thing is that they're not a bad enough team to tank. They can still beat the Wizards. They can still surprise a couple of bad teams. And that's the issue with Chicago, is while they aren't that good, they aren't bad enough to tank. All in all, I hate this trade for the Bulls. I just do. I'm going to go look at contracts for them now, just to be fair. Lonzo Ball is playing on a player option. He's a free agent after this season. You should get rid of him. Trade him to a contending team, but I don't even know if they'd want it. $22 million for a guy who can't play consistently. While it's not his fault, definitely tough. Nikola Vucevic. I would have rather them kept Zach Lavine and trade Nikola Vucevic than what they did. They're keeping Nikola Vucevic for seemingly no reason. He has this season and next on deal. I don't get why you'd want to keep him. And it's just Patrick Williams albatross deal. Gross. $18 million for a guy who maybe averages 9 a game at best. This trade has just reminded me how bad teams stay bad. And it's because teams like the Bulls do what they do. I'm looking top to bottom, and this team it's gross. It's gross. Modest doesn't get PT because Billy Donovan doesn't like playing rookies. Fine, whatever. But you're going to be paying Giddey. You might be footing the bill on Giddey, which, no, please don't. Please don't. Let him hit UFA and just go. Right. Jalen Smith got a deal. He's a fine player. Kobe White needs to get extended after next season. I don't even know would you want to do that because you're going to be tanking by then. Pat Williams. You know what? Pat Williams being extended might be the best thing possible because now he can lead the tank because he is that caliber of player where if you just let him cook for 35 to 40 minutes, you're tanking perfectly. Immaculate tank. Vooch has 25-26 for $21.5 million. You should have moved him. He should just get moved. And hopefully this isn't it for the Bulls. If they roll into the offseason like this is just a poor job. I mean, you got Kevin Huerter's deal. Trey Jones and Zach Collins are there. Who cares? You got your own pick back. So you're rolling the dice and hoping that it lands at a top 5 pick. And even the last time you did get a top 5 pick, didn't you use it on goddamn Pat Williams anyways? Bad teams stay bad. And Zach Lavine, at least he's out of Chicago. I guess I can be happy for that one because he's a guy who just didn't deserve to be in Chicago for however long he was. I like Zach Lavine as a player. I think there's value in a scorer like him, an all-pro scorer who can give you like 9 threes in a game. He's a hot, cold microwave type of guy, right? And it's just none of this, I don't know, none of this made sense for the Bulls for me unless they're really going to embrace the tank. But if you really want to embrace the tank, you'd be flipping a guy like Vucevic very soon. But if I'm being honest, or even, I don't know, man, flipping a guy like Lonzo Ball, and you need more than one pick, your own pick, because let's go look up what picks they have. Warriors seriously explore deal to acquire Zach Lavine, Nikola Vucevic before focusing on other trade pursuits. I don't know what they're doing either, but I'm going to keep the topic on the teams that are actually here. The Bulls right now own, oh my God, they own their own first-round pick 1 to 10. Oh, yeah. In 2025, they own their own first-round pick 1 to 10 to San Antonio, or 1 to 10 they own, and then 11 to 30 to San Antonio, and then Portland 15 to 30. If it wasn't already settled in 2025, their pick would be 1 to 8 protected, and then 9 to 30 would go to San Antonio. And then, I don't know, it's just getting rid of the protections on their picks, essentially. I guess. Yeah, it's getting rid of the protections on their picks is basically what they're doing. But you still only own one first-round pick in 25, 26, 27, 28. You still only own one first-round pick. You own also one second-round pick each season as well. So there's not much pick equity here if you're starting a rebuild. So you really need to focus on flipping assets. Shout out Kenny. I know that's his team. But Jesus Christ, man. They gotta do something, bro. If I had to summarize this trade, I'd say good job, San Antonio. Decent job by Sacramento. You got a bunch of picks and Zach Lavine, who's a talented player in his own right. So you don't have to tank, but I suggest you do because being mid is fun-ish, but it's not because it makes it feel like, trust me, I've rooted for mid teams a lot before. It makes it feel like what's the point of the season? You know, when you just get bumped first round or second round even, and you knew you never had a chance really to begin with. It's in this team, the big three of Lavine, DeRozan, Sabonis feels very much like upgraded in the center spot. Lavine, DeRozan, Vucevic, except it's better at the center spot. It's not, you know, this isn't a team that's going to win the championship either. So either focus on the future and trade some of these picks, or trade some of these players, or they're going to try and win now and try and really rush this process. A guy like Keegan Murray is struggling. Malik Monk has value, and I don't know. This team signed for a while, so I guess they got the 3 first-round picks, and they could use it to maybe even upgrade their roster if a star becomes available. Hell, maybe they reroute and get the Jimmy Butler trade going. You know, trades DeMar DeRozan for Jimmy Butler. I don't know. I like the deal for definitely the Spurs. I don't mind the deal for the Kings. For the Bulls, welcome to Jerry Reinsdorf's mind, kids. Man, I don't like that at all. You traded a guy who was the face of your franchise in Zach Lavine for years now for essentially your own first-round pick back, which is, I don't like that. You only got your first-round pick back. You didn't even get a Kings first-round pick back, and yet you gave them Zach Lavine and took Albatross Kevin Huerter. What the hell? I don't like that for the Bulls at all. I'm going to flash it on screen right now. It's ridiculous. That's a bad move for Chicago. Bad move. And I guess we could talk about the Warriors for a half a second. If they were to get Lavine and Vucevic, cool, but they keep saying they don't want to build for the future, or they want to build for the future. They don't want to build for now. I guess, sure, whatever. Nobody cares. Then just go in silence, all right? Just die in peace. Let Podziemski and Kuminga run that offense and see how many wins they can get. I don't get it. People are saying that Draymond Green is in Joe Lacob's pocket, and he knows Lacob doesn't want to foot the bill for another expensive roster. Maybe. But I'm just going to keep it with this trade for right now. Pretty decent trade all around. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Like, comment, share, sub. This is video number 3 in 2 days. I'm going to go catch the game. See you guys in the next one.